Hi guys, Aaron Clark here, and in this video I want to run through a few different methods of creating rounded end caps for whatever you're modeling. So for this example, I'm going to be capping a shank, and instead of just having it just a square end, we're going to have a look at a few different methods of creating a nice sort of blended, smoothed over end. Now there's 5 different ways that I can think of doing this, and each of them might be different for whatever modelling situation that you have. And I've got them listed here in sort of order of commonality, I guess, or certainly which ones I would use more frequently. So the first one is Fillet, then Loft, Blend Surface, Rail Revolve, and then finally is Collapse Points. So let's jump in and we'll run through these in order. The first one is Fillet, and like I said, here's a sort of typical shank, and normally if you're going to be sort of blending off the end here, you probably want to round off the shank. So let's just have a radius of 0.6, and let's say, well, let's sort of round that shank off a bit. Now I've still got a very square end there, so let's fillet again. Now I can't fillet with 0.6 again, because it's just the way Rhino works. It doesn't like having a 0.6mm fillet and then a second 0.6mm fillet on top of that. And you see it just sort of freaks out a bit there. So let's back that up. We can even back that up one step further. Let's do another fillet. The command here is fillet edge. And this time I'm going to select all of those edges at once. And hey, it works. Okay, so that's one way of sort of getting around that issue that Rhino has, where it doesn't like, you can fill it at once, but you can't fill it twice at the same. You can fill it with a smaller radius, so 0.5. This should work. There we go, 0.5. That works. It's kind of tidier to sort of, it's one method to sort of just fillet them all in one shot. Okay. So nice and easy. And you do that all the time, really. So that's fillet. And we'll throw him over there. Next up, create another one of these, is Loft. So I could use this one quite a lot. I'm going to cap that. Fillet off my corners again, 0.6. This time I'm just going to hold Control-Shift, sub-select that top face, and delete that off. I'm going to run a command called duplicate border. Command up here is _dup border. And I'm going to draw 2 lines. I'm going to split this with both of those lines. Delete off the top. We can delete those, and I'm going to dupe border of that. So now we've got 3 profiles. I'm going to run a command called area centroid. Area centroid, that's it there. And that's going to put a point. I've got this top profile selected, and that's going to put a point right in the area centroid of that. So right in the middle. Then the command is Loft, L-O-F-T. Select curves to Loft, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you do them in order. The 4th point is that point there. And we just want to make sure that these little handles sort of line up. And I like to put them sort of at the top or the inside center of the shank. And they're just going to sort of snap to the midpoint there. And you can see this one here is sort of pointing up, all the rest are pointing down. If I hover over that, you'll see a little black arrow click, and now they're all lined up. And enter. And you can see that over there, it's created a pretty nice end cap there. Now the trick here is to set the style to loose. If it's normal, we preview that. It's doing something pretty weird there. Straight sections, what does that do? That's pretty flat, that's what we had. Tight, loose, just go for loose. Preview, looks good. Okay, join those up. And there we go. So that's method number 2. It can be hidden for now. And we can delete all those off. So that's the Loft Now this one is a blend surface. So again, we've got our profile. Again, I'm going to fillet that with 0.6 radius. I'm just going to cap that first before I fillet it. Sometimes if you fillet an open surface, it creates a bit of a wave or a wobble on the ends, on the where the fillet hits it, and that can cause issues when you try and cap something like that because it's a non-planar opening. So fillet, and let's grab that and delete that off. And if we grab our show edges tool, you can see we've got a bunch of pink points, and these are the edges of that surface. It's a poly surface. If you come after properties, we've got an open poly surface, which means it's made up of several different surfaces. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to split point. So split edge, and first is this one. Point to split edge. I want to hit that right in the middle there. That's sort of snapping to that midpoint. Okay, so you can see I've created that point there. Do that again for this bottom edge. Now I'm going to run the command blend surface, BLEND surf. So make sure auto chain is no, and I'm just going to come here and grab that side, and again that side, and we've got this sort of diagram of what's going to happen. You can lock this and sort of make that a bit shorter or taller depending on what you want to do, and you can sort of change the amount of control points. Curvature is always a nice one to have, and if you hold shift, you can actually select these top two and move those independently if you sort of want a bit of a blunter cap there, and hit OK. Join those up. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. So that is method number 3, the blend surface method, and you can see I've sort of gone from this side to this side. If you want, you can, I'll tell you what, let's do that. Let's say we want to go from the inside to the outside. We'll see what that looks like. Actually, bring me back that. So in this case, I will probably split these two edges here. This is the flat surface. That surface there, that's the sort of flat surface that hasn't been it's not one of these filleted surfaces. So let's split edge. Grab that one. See if that's going to snap to the mid. Yep. This one to the mid. Okay, blend surf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enter. Lock that. And I think I prefer that option rather than the sort of left to right. I prefer the inside to the outside. Alright, join that up and get rid of that. What I've got over here is just an example I'm going to run through in a minute. And I keep on having to rehide that so you don't see it. Okay, next one is rail revolve, and again we've got our shank here, and again I'm going to cap that, and again I'm going to fillet it, and this time I want to draw a line. I want to split this, and we'll delete that off. I'll split this, and I'll leave that there. Now I want a straight line tangential to this curve here. So let's extend curve. There's a little command here called extend curve. Select boundary objects, whatever, press enter. Select curve to extend. Now I want to change the type to line. So it's going to be a straight line. Select that curve there, and I want it to sort of be about the same length. And what's going on there? We can delete that. Now this profile, if we measure that, is 1.95 thick or deep, and I want to grab right click, line both sides, or if you just type line, there is a both sides option there, and I want to grab it from this point here, that end of that straight line. Before I do that, I want to do perpendicular, so it's going to hit that at right angles to that line there. 1.95 divided by 2, and just click. So now that's at nice sort of right angles to that. Okay. Next command is the control point curve, or just curve. I'm going to click once here. Now this is a 3-degree curve that I want to be doing. 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, and that's the shape of. It's going to be the sort of the shape of the cap. Now I do want to split this with that curve there, so now this is sort of free of that curve there. Let's dupe the border, and let's do a rail revolve command. So I've got my profile selected, rail revolve, select the curve, I think I've got this in the right order, and axis. So this is where I want the straight line because I want this axis to be straight. And there we are. And that looks pretty good too. So join those up. 1, 2. Stick it over there. Hide. Yeah, that's the rail revolve. That looks pretty good to me. Hide it. Let's get rid of that. And now I just want a bit more of curve back, so I'm going to again extend that curve. This time with a, what is an arc, I guess. And just give that a bit more length. Alright, cool. Delete that. Sweep on. Now this particular one, we're going to be playing with control points, and you can only turn on control points if I hit F10, I think it is. Cannot turn on control points for poly surfaces. And again, if I come over to my properties, it's an open poly surface. If I'm to fillet that, it's still going to be an open poly surface. Oh, didn't mean to step back that far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fillet. This is a different command called Phillip Corners, and I'm actually going to fillet this profile here, 0.6. And you can see what that's done is it's created not a poly surface, but a surface, which means I can turn on the control points. And this is a very, I guess, technical way of modeling, using yeah, it's very technical, very creating simple surfaces, I guess, is what technical modeling is about. So you can go pretty deep down the rabbit hole with how surfaces are created. But in this case, I just want to grab all that top loop of points. I want to set point. Command is set PT. And where's my little dialogue? Here it is. So I want X, Y, and Z set. Now I want to basically have this probably snapping to one of these points here. That one there looks good to me. Okay, points off. And now we have one single surface. It's not a poly surface. We can turn our points on. We can do, weird stuff if you want to mess with it. And a very nice, elegant solution to creating an end cap. But it takes a bit of messing around with. Okay, so let's bring back our options. And I'll sort of sort these out a bit more. So those are our options. We've got the fillet. And you can see there now next to the other ones, that looks pretty unrefined. It's a pretty raw way of doing it. We've got the loft, the blend surface, where I did the rail revolve and the collapse point. And let's just do a quick little E-map. And you can sort of see here, you know, this gives you a really sort of good indication of what these are actually looking like, and the different characteristics of each of these methods. You know, you can sort of see here we've got the these straight edges sort of rolling up to the center hit there. This one looks pretty nice. It's a nice rounded end cap. That's using the the blend surface method. That's really nice and smooth. Then we've got the rail revolve, and again we can sort of see a bit of this flatness here on the side, flatness there. You know, that's, to me, that looks very visually similar to that Loft method. And then the surface one where we've collapsed the points, and again that looks pretty similar as well. And yeah, that one there to me looks quite nice. Cool. All right, let's turn the EMAP off. So those are our those are our collection there. All right, let's hide that layer. And we'll bring this back. So this is a real world example, sorry, excuse me, where we've got this pendant, chain goes through here, a little big, you know, big stone there, and we just want to get a nice sort of finish to these ends. So in this case, I would, you know, I'd probably use a blend surface. Let's grab those control points, so the show edges. And you can see it's not a terrific surface. It's pretty complex. You can sort of see these guidelines going off in all places. If you can't see those, it's worth going to display and grabbing surface ISO curves. And if you check that off, for some reason it's maintaining on that. Oh, it's probably because of that. Yeah, if you got that off, it sort of looks like a nice surface. Get that on, and you can just sort of see really how complex this surface is. So like I said, in this command, this method, I want to use blend surface. If I had a bit more length here, I could cut them back and use maybe the Loft or the rail revolve method, probably the Loft. But I don't have a bit of extra to get those extra profiles, so let's go with blend surface. Now we've already got a couple of points here where there's a couple of edges sort of already apparent, so I might grab the bottom as one and the top as another. Okay, blend. Oops, not blend. Blend surf. Blend surf. Okay, make sure auto chain is off. One. Enter for the when I'm done, and this is the second segment. 1, 2, enter. Lock that down, and I'm just going to shrink that back a bit. How's that look? That's pretty good. Join those up. Yeah, look good. Looks good. And we will do the same here. All right, let's have a look and hide this. So I've got one point there. We can again split edge, and we want to split this edge in just somewhere over here. There's a midpoint there. It's sort of snapping to. That's fine. Blend surf that one, enter that one, and it's kind of kicking up a bit more at the bottom. I can just grab that and try and even things out a little bit maybe. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, and join those up. And there we have it. So we've got a nice little end caps on our little pendant here. You don't have to worry about, you know, doing a crude fillet or anything like that on the ends. It looks quite nice. And you know, it's if I've got claws on say a pear cut stone. We'll quickly run through this. I'm going to grab a box 1.2, rotate that 45, insert a kink, 2 kinks in the midpoints, those upper 2 sections. So say if I've got to render up a V-claw for a pear cut or a marquee or something like that. What I can do is, it's again pretty crude to just sort of do that. So I can. I tend not to touch that inner one. Give it all a bit of a fillet, and then we're going to do border. Let's draw a line. Do that. Split. Oops. Split. Delete. Do border. Area centroid. Loft. Let's have a look at the top. Let's have all of these lining up. This guy's off in the wrong direction. Point him that way. Okay, so there's our, if we're going to render this up for a little VCap for our pear cut. Nice thing about this is if you've got history enabled, you can sort of, fudge with it a little bit. If you want to play with the shape, you've got the options there. So that is, well, those are my ways of creating end caps for shanks or claws or whatever you need it for, really. Fillet, loft, blend surface, revolve, and collapse points. And again, if anybody's got any other suggestions, love to hear them. Feel free to leave a comment. All right, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and hope you enjoyed it. Bye.